Hi, I'm Kevin Eikenberry, and I'm here to help you reach your potential as a leader and a human being. Welcome to Remarkable TV. Today we're talking about the power of balance. Are you ready? Let's get started. Well, as I get older, I become more and more convinced that balance is one of the things we ought to think more about in our life. And the thing that most people think about when they think about balance is work-life balance. And I'll say a little bit more about that later, but let's not start there. Okay, instead, I want to start with when you were a kid and you learned how to ride a bike. And when you were learning to ride, or when you were watching other people ride, it didn't take you long to figure out that there's two important things that you have to be able to do to ride a bike successfully. Number one is to keep pedaling. And the second one is balance. You have to have balance. If you get too far one way, you're going over, right? So we know that riding a bike was about keep moving, keep pedaling, and having a balance. Now, there's not a single place you get to in a balance, right? Like, it's not like you find a spot. What do you do on the bike? You continue to shift and move as you're pedaling. Because even if it's just the pedaling motion of your body, you're shifting your weight to keep the balance. And I think so too it is in our life and in our work. There's not a perfect place. It's always a balancing act. It's a balance as a verb, not as a noun. And so here's the thing you learn on the bike that I think is equally true in our lives and in our work, is that on the bike, to keep going, you got to make small shifts. If you shift a lot, you're going down, bad result. And so I think that's the way we should think about our balance in our lives. And let's just take the work-life balance one just for a second, right? There's going to be stages of life and times in life and seasons of the year perhaps where the balance might shift more to one way or the other. As I am recording this, I have become an uncle, recently become an uncle again, and I'm about to become a great uncle, and it's awesome. But here's the thing. In the lives of those family members of mine, at the time of having a baby, the shift of work and life is shifting more toward life, we shall hope, for a while. But that's a season, right? My point is this, is that balance is an ever-moving thing in work and in life, as well as a bicycle, and in some other examples as well. Let me just give you a couple others to think about before we wrap up today. One of those is task versus relationship. In our Bud to Boss work, we talk a lot about the balance between, are we all focusing only on the task? That's a problem. If we're focusing only on the relationships, that's a problem. We need to find a healthy balance between the two. We could think both as a leader and in the rest of our lives about the balance of our needs versus the needs of others. And so if we shift too far one way or the other, we need to find a balance between our needs and the needs of others. How about the balance between speaking versus listening? There are times when we need to speak up and say something, and there are times that we need to shut up and listen. And some of us lean too far one way or the other too much of the time, and finding the right balance is the right answer. And one more for you. I mean, I could give you a list of 100. Here's just one more. Asking versus telling. Think about the balance of those two things in your life. Now see, in all of those examples I gave you, starting with the bike and all the way to asking versus telling, there's a challenge of knowing when to shift, right? Am I talking too much? Am I asking too often and not saying anything? Am I listening enough or not? Am I focusing too much on the needs of others and leaving mine out, or vice versa? In every case, the challenge for us is to understand the importance of having balance and then look for the clues and being self-aware enough to know when we should shift. We're not always going to get it right, but I guarantee you if you put this thought in your head, you've got a better chance of having better balance more of the time. Let me close with today's tweet. Consider how minor shifts might add significantly more balance to your life today. Well, you're watching me on video, and we shoot a lot of video here, and I do a lot of writing and send a lot of emails, and I have a sort of very special list that we send to what I call the daily email. The daily email actually comes out every Tuesday through Friday, and it is a very short 200 to 300 word email that shares some insight from what's going on in my life, talks about something that we're doing in our business, but it's meant to be sort of informal and hopefully inspirational, as well as maybe sharing an idea that you could apply on that particular day. I call it the daily email. If you want to join us, there's a link right here in this page to join us there if you want. But you know what? If you don't want to get email and you just want to watch us on video, right here, every week, another episode of Remarkable TV.